I'm Crypto Pio. This is Nifty Culture. I'm here with Malachi, Rob, and Mike, and we are going to talk about hunting for blue chip NFTs during this crypto dip, during this market crash. What's going on, fellas?
Hey, Pio.
What's up, Pio?
What's up, man?
Not much, man. I'm trying to sweep the floor right now, and I know that you guys probably are too, and you've also made some pretty sweet purchases in the past week. So yeah, subject of today's chat is hunting for blue chips during this crash. Mike, what's going on? What are you thinking?
Well, the big thing for me on the last day or two is mainly around XCopy. So there was this weird pump going on that people were noticing with XCopy with Afterburn, which kind of started up tomorrow. Started up yesterday. Me and Mal were talking about it and trying to see what the heck is going on. Why are people suddenly hoovering up all these Afterburns? So we were digging around on there's an XCopy Discord, digging around on Nifty Gateway Discord, trying to see what was going on. And a rumor started to kind of bubble up from the depths that there might be some sort of airdrop. Someone, I'm not sure who posted it or how whoever posted it found out ahead of time, but that was the rumor going on yesterday. So we were pretty much scanning for Afterburns. I ended up picking one up around $1,200 once I saw a bunch of big collectors pick one up. Like Sergito picked one up for about, I think he probably picked up one that I was going to get. I think he got his for $1,150. So as soon as I saw a couple of big collectors start picking up Afterburns, that was kind of a trigger for me to try to jump in on one. So I ended up picking one up. Yeah, this is all Nifty Gateway. So, but then today, the official news broke from XCopy himself. He tweets out a very cryptic tweet, but basically saying one art equals one art. So it's still very cryptic, and obviously we're just completely speculating here. But you could presume that if you own one XCopy, that you will get one XCopy through some sort of mechanism. I tried to run the numbers on how many XCopy pieces are out there, at least on Nifty Gateway. I'm not sure what other marketplaces he's on, but I would guess around 1,100 to 1,200 XCopies. So that would put it at about a 1 in 1,100 if he gave one to every single. I mean, if he gave one out to every single person who owned, or every single piece that was owned, versus just give that one out to each collector who owns one.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry. XCopy is pretty well documented, I think. So really quick, I think there's a couple big things with XCopy that have made people excited. First off, NFT Siblings, who have a huge following on Discord, they also have a YouTube channel. They produce great content. They created a focus video similar to some of the artists that we've been talking to and talking about recently, which brought a lot of excitement. But simultaneously, XCopy a few days ago created in their Discord an owner verification feature where they wanted to find out who within the Discord is an actual owner, similar to how Beeple has their owners, and there's different tiering and hidden chat rooms and those types of things. But within that, they were saying, XCopy has released directly to OpenSea super rare async art, known origin, and rare cards, and obviously Nifty Gateway. A lot of those are much fewer drops than the Afterburn piece, but there's still a very limited number of art. And how many people are actually going to go in and verify themselves so they can actually participate in that airdrop is even smaller. But what excites me is that XCopy is fundamentally one of the blue chip NFT artists. They were early to the space. They produce a distinct style. Their style is so well documented that they even have an XCopy Punks imitation where people asked XCopy, hey, what do you think of this project? And they said, this is a fine project, but go buy real art from not real art, but art from other artists. And then the fact that they're part of that Sotheby's new drop that just came out, where a lot of the blue chip artists are now in, arguably one of the most legitimate auction houses. Beeple obviously being the OG, but now with Sotheby's and Christie's embracing this, I think regardless if you get it airdropped a free NFT from Xcopy. The fact that you can buy a blue chip artist that has a very, very limited number of drops that are going to be, limited in excess 5 years from now, having an Xcopy for $1,200 is going to sound like a really good deal, because all future art will be, before Sotheby's or after Sotheby's. And so when you think about a lot of that, I think that there's a lot of value that can be derived from this that people can start seeing.
Oh, they have an they have an autoglyph there. Oh,
yeah.
I love autoglyphs, bro.
There's a lot of interesting stuff in this Sotheby's drop. Some stuff some stuff that a lot of people have heard of. Some stuff that is less recognizable. There's a Mad Dog Jones in there. Mad Dog Jones did a custom piece for it, which I think is pretty sweet if you're a racing fan or motorcycle fan. There's a F render in there. There's an Xcopy in there. A lot of really big name artists, as well as, there's a CryptoPunk in there too, which is, interesting.
A zombie.
So it's the whole lot. Yeah, so you have to buy the whole lot, and it has a zombie CryptoPunk in there.
No, those are individual lots, and then there's one art block of 19 works. So most of these are individual lots, but there's one lot that has multiple works. I'm looking at it right now. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of interesting things. Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see the autoglyph in there. How much do you think that autoglyph is worth?
Dude, 250? 200, 250. Those things are so expensive. I love those though, Mike. Don't you like that?
I think that it's a cool technology because they're supposed to be self-contained inside of the blockchain.
Yeah, that's why I love it. It's like raw and original, and there's only how many? There's only like 3,000 or 5,000 or something like that. It's very smaller number.
Yeah, that's true.
I love that. I would have bought one. I would have bought one until John Staller told me about the CryptoPunks and told me not to buy anymore. I would have bought one of those autoglyphs.
For me, though, on the autoglyph, the art isn't quite as visually attractive for me. My personal opinion on them. I think the technology is really good.
Yeah, okay, I agree. Okay, that's
I totally respect the tech. But would you put an autoglyph on your
yes
display behind you?
Yes, I would, because to me it's so raw and so cool. It's almost like a Mandela. Okay. Which signifies the self. So I think that's really beautiful. I think that's really cool.
Okay.
Hey, art in the eye of the beholder, right?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. It'd be right next to my CryptoPunk.
Hey, you could have gotten a third me bit if you had bought that autoglyph too.
Oh man. I started looking at autoglyphs once they gotten too high. I started looking at them and loving them at around 80 grand, and I was like, oh.
Oh man, yeah, that would be.
I had to sell quite a bit of my bag in order to get that.
Yeah,
but it would probably been a good bet. They're still going up in value.
And so, are these also by Larva Labs?
Mm-hmm.
Autoglyphs, yeah.
I think that was their second project.
Yeah, and that's where part of the frustration with the me bits, right? So the fact that anyone who owned any of the first two drops from LL got a free me bit. Awesome. And so it's also
how much is that? Look at that.
Yeah, that one is pretty sick. Man, you shouldn't have listened to John.
Look at those things, dude.
He's got to read the tech.
Got to read the tech. Those are beautiful. Looks like cool crop circles. I love it.
Yeah, it's a cool project for sure.
Yeah. I love that.
So yeah, I know that some of our viewers have been sweeping the floor. They've been giving us pings and giving us an idea. I know Kevin right here is saying that he has an offer for Xcode. I don't know if he meant Xcopy or if I don't know what Xcode is, but yeah, I was looking at Nifty Gateway today, and one thing that sticks out to me is someone snagged a Bitcoin Angel for 985. So that's a really good number. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I think that you know, it's going to be wild to see what like the progression of Bitcoin Angel continues to be, just because I know it was trading for 3,000 to 4,000 routinely before, but if Bitcoin does approach 77,000 in the near future, I think it could be a different story. But yeah, I mean, Micah Johnson's below drop price. I want to try to snag an X copy for below drop price, like Malachi did. I prefer Gusher, but I think that one's like really expensive. I have four global offers out right now. One on a Rhymes Like Dimes, one on a Victor Mosquera, and then I forget the other two, but I'm hoping. One on a Tom Yu. I'm just putting low ball offers out there to try to sweep the floor and see if Paper Hands will, you know, give me a shot here.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
this guy,
when we think about blue chips, and I think like that's one of the things that the blue chip definition is different depending on who you talk to. Victor, in my opinion, would definitely be. Rhymes Like Dimes is great. I don't think he'd be considered blue chip. I picked up a Rhymes swing for 300, and I thought that was the biggest steal of the century, but now it's below 300. So unless you're going after one of the premier pieces, you should be able to get a Rhymes pretty inexpensively. Additionally, you know, when we think about the blue chips, I think it's a good conversation. You know, Villery or Mike and I were talking earlier about like, is Ferocious considered a blue chip NFT? And Rob, I know you're a huge Ferocious fan. I tend to think, you know, I've got offers out on Victor and Victoria. If I see one drop
below
1,000,
is that the one you like? Is that the one you like? Not I decided to fly or something like that.
I have an offer on that one too.
Yeah, if I could afford it.
Which one? Victoria 101?
Yeah, I have an
Victor
offer
and Victoria,
on Victoria.
or Day I Decided to Fly?
Victor and Victoria. I mean, that thing was trading for like 6,000-7,000 after a $1,111 drop. Someone bought it for under that drop price in the past couple of weeks. I put an offer in. I'm putting all low ball offers in, so I think I might have put $700 or $800 in as the offer on that. None. I don't think any of them came through. Like, I'll check right now. I don't think any of them came through. And if they were going to come through, I think today would have been the day, right? Like today, the biggest dip in the market in a long time. So yeah, I think they were too low. None of them came through. I didn't mean to say that Rhymes Like Dimes, I consider him blue chip. I don't consider him blue chip. But I just really like his work. So I put $100 or something offer on the Travis Scott one, the carousel.
That one's sick. Yeah, for like 150, I picked that one up for sure. And I think I have some globals out on that one too. You know, it's interesting. Really quickly, I want to push the Ferocious conversation a little bit more. Please. Because you know, when we think about, you know, generally speaking, Beeple is obviously the OG blue chip. You know, Pop was. I think that there's a lot. Well, like objective, like if we like,
keep going. He's good. Keep going. You got to go. Keep going.
Well, I want to provide some context. If you like the cubes, it's great. But when you think about some of the other pieces, for me, the other, you know,
other pieces. Their other pieces are genius. He has some of the best thinking art.
Yeah, who are you talking about?
Yeah,
Pac, yes. I think so.
I think your piece is really sweet, Rob, the one that you have. I think those older ones are really sweet.
Yeah,
the Narcissus ones.
Yeah. Dude, I saw him. He was like one of the first anchor artists I remember when I got into crypto, because he sold the red square. And I saw someone bought that for $100,000. I was like, this crypto stuff is real. I was like, this is on. So I always wanted to own one of his. So when he did the drop on Nifty Gateway, I bought one of all of them. I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Then I got that free piece.
You got a free pack? Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know that, Mike? You didn't know that Rob's got a free pack?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
So, okay, let's finish this out, right? So, Pac Beeple, is Trevor Jones blue chip?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I'm in the camp that Trevor Jones is. And hey, let's since we're circling back to Trevor Jones, let me take us on a quick segue right here. Trevor Jones related. I do think he's blue chip. There's something going on with him though.
What?
And
what do you mean?
And somebody talking about today just now that one of his pieces, one of those Bitcoin angels, sold for under 1,000. What was it?
Yeah,
Seven?
I was talking about it. Yeah, like under 1,000, and the drop
Yeah,
price was
985.
777. Yeah, so I think Paper Hand sold it, but I don't think
No,
it has the
no,
same value.
but
Go ahead.
wait. Okay, wait. This guy who sold it, some guy named, amusingly, his name is Robert, but different Robert.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy dumped these Bitcoin angels today, and he owned 3 of them, and he dumped all 3 of them.
Hold on. To add to that, the Conor McGregor 1 of 1, literally 47 seconds ago, went up for sale for 135,000. So something is going on.
Yeah, see, something's going on. This guy owns 50. His name's Rob. I'm going to put his link into the into the chat so you can bring it up. This guy Robert owns 50 Nifties. He's a serious collector. You look through his stuff. He's got he's got a whole bunch of gold weird stuff from the day. He's got a ton of those gays, Jason eBayers. He's got
he has big shit.
Mascara. He's got some faces in there. He's got a lot
Mona
of pretty.
Sativa.
Yeah, he's got some legit stuff in there, and he's got a lot of stuff. He dumped all 3 of his Bitcoin angels for under $1,000 today.
But what does that indicate to you? Maybe he needed to pay a bet or something, man.
Maybe he's leveraged on.
But look at the other stuff in his collection. What he's got it for sale for? He's got all of this stuff for sale for 5-figure price. He's got the space yacht for sale for like $5,000. Like,
yeah, he's not looking to really sell those.
Yeah, that's all of his prices are just like, if you'll pay it, you'll pay it. But then why does he go and then all of a sudden decide to dump all these Bitcoin angels? Okay, so the other thing I was going to say about Trevor Jones, he's got a Discord,
right?
Which I actually haven't
TJ Art
checked.
Club.
I haven't checked it today, but he's been having trouble with this announcement that he's been trying to do with some auction house that he allegedly is working with to do a drop.
Right.
And he was supposed to make an announcement about it yesterday and still has not.
Right. So he said he got delayed.
Yeah. So something's going on with him.
Yeah, so he posted on Discord today, you may have seen on Twitter that my auction house drop has been delayed. There are a couple of reasons why they decided to do this, which I can't get into, but as we all know, trying to time a big event in the crypto space can be very difficult. All I can say is that everyone that is involved is fully invested in this. The work has been completed. A huge amount of time and investment has gone into this from me as the artist, but especially from the side of the company and all involved with it. They're 100% focused on pushing boundaries and opening up an entirely new market via NFTs. It's super exciting and it will happen soon. My poor heart can't take much more of this. So I know that, yeah, this happened and I'm assuming he's pretty bummed out about it. He's also working with Ice Cube on an NFT, which is pretty wild.
Yes.
So that'll be something. I don't know why that person would dump the Bitcoin angels. It just doesn't seem like, yeah, that's smart of a move. This Conor McGregor thing, the thing is, this guy has been trying to get rid of this, kind of. I think he thought that he was going to maybe be able to get $1 million for it in March. He probably could have gotten like $250,000 at this time, right? In early March, he probably could have gotten $250,000, but he got greedy. He went for $1 million, and now he's just trying to get rid of it. I wouldn't be surprised if this piece, just because Conor McGregor's hype is like quickly dying, if it sells for under 100K, because McGregor got stopped last time, and there's no guarantee that that's going to change in this rematch.
Look, he loses one more time to Poirier. It's done. Come on, man. Come on. You're not going to be able to pull the big pull anymore.
Yeah, actually, looking at that guy's paper hand history and just poor price picking on that piece, I think I'm less worried about TJ stuff. Like, he's just been, like you said, he just picked a bad price to start out with, and clearly he just wants to unload the piece and make a quick buck off it. So that kind of sucks that he's the one who ended up getting the award. It would have been cooler if it went to somebody who actually was going to hang on to it and respect the fact that they got a TJ 1 of 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what it is.
Bronze Bull. I love the Bronze Bull.
The Bronze Bull is awesome for sure.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of his best ones. I mean, Bitcoin Angel is a really nice piece.
It is. It's beautiful.
So just, I mean, the crazy dilution on it, but that's, you know, I almost think these commodity pieces were like, we had that period in February, March, where it was like pieces were going in series of 1,000. I don't think, I mean, it'll be a long time before we see that again. I don't want to say that we'll never see that again, but that was kind of a unique period where they were doing these huge runs of these blue chip artists. And so it just makes it's nice that there's like an entry level piece that you can get for these artists. Whereas like now, I think they're going to be more, they're going to do drawings and they're going to do high bid auctions and silent auctions to keep the runs just smaller. And like, look at the Beeple auction that we just had where, you know, nothing, if you wanted to actually buy something outright, you had to bid about $36,000 to get that leaderboard piece. So, I mean, 36,000 as a price to entry is basically unattainable for most regular collectors.
For what? For which one?
For like, if you wanted to participate in the Beeple auction without like winning a drawing,
no way.
Then its price to entry was 36K. So, but I think most of the blue chip pieces from here on out are probably, I mean, they're not going to have low priced entries. I guess PAX Cube maybe could be, I guess, considered a low price entry, although that as a work of art is kind of not super great. But I think, like, you know, if Mad Dog Jones does another Nifty Gateway drop, there's not going to be anything cheap in that.
No.
So
agreed.
Why Would I Care, I'm Just a Cat is probably going to still remain his like commodity piece. Since that was made back in the days where they would do a 900 unit run.
And Trevor Jones did say he's not going to do any more open editions.
A lot fewer are going.
Good.
What else is cool is the fact that you're going to be able. And sorry about my audio. I reconnected to a landline connection. But what's really interesting is these airdrops, right? We're finally in the Rob camp where we're owning pieces of art that may. Sorry, now there's background noise, but we may actually get some free custom pieces of art from this. So I think that the artists are going to reward the early collectors of these. The blue chip artists are going to reward this. And think about, you know, if there's never going to be, I always relate it back to my Takashi Murakami, right? If I own a 1 of 300 piece, and it's rare, it's collectible, it's reliable. But then when we think about everything else, like what does it look like from that standpoint? 1 of 5,000, if they're going to do fewer drops, is really cool, as long as they don't do another open edition.
Yeah, funny little story about Trevor Jones with the open edition claim is that he put that out there on Twitter. He was like, "This is my last open edition. I'm not doing any more open editions." And then like 3 weeks later, he like alluded to doing another open edition in like September. And I tweeted at him, I was like, "You said that you weren't going to do any more open editions." And someone else was like, "He has the right to do open editions, blah, blah, blah." And then Trevor Jones came in and was like, no, he's right. I said it. I didn't remember that I said that. Too much wine, like, ha, 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 Trevor Jones joke. So basically, I checked him on the open editions thing, and he respected it.
Cool.
Trevor Jones's biggest challenge is going to be his personality and what cultural norms are willing to accept, because he's from across the pond. He's a little bit rough around the edges, and that's okay. And people need to appreciate his art. And yeah, Pio, that is pretty darn awesome. But it's like, I worry about a little bit about the cancel culture where, you know, there was a consortium. Granted, he shouldn't have said what he said, because Blake Catherine is an incredible artist, and Paris Hilton, in my opinion, is doing a lot of good for the Nifty community, a lot more than Lindsay Lohan was, and she's sticking around. She's buying art. So I think he might have had a couple glasses of wine before he made that comment, and hopefully he is more careful moving forward. And that, you know, that's the thing that I worry about is, you know, and there was a lot of, after that comment, you could have bought another Bitcoin Angel very inexpensively for a period of time, and it rebounded well. So, okay, Trevor Jones is definitely blue chip. I agree with that. What do you guys think about
Ferocious? Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about Ferocious for a minute.
That's where it started from, right? That's where you wanted to go.
That is. I mean, let's Ferocious is Mike. When you think about what your concerns might be, is it just that they don't have enough art under their belt? Is it youth? Is it just the art doesn't appeal to you? I'm curious. And you're not saying they're not a blue chip, but you're saying, when we think about Trevor Jones, Beeple, Pac, X Copy, those are pretty legitimate. What would Ferocious have to do for you to pass into that pantheon, or are they there already?
I guess for me, and people should be aware that I'm not like a highly educated art critic. So my extent of formal art education is like a handful of extra credit classes I took in college
at UTD.
At UTD, a tech school, not a arts school. So this is truly my personal opinion. There's a bunch of Ferocious pieces that I like quite a bit, especially like my favorite one of Ferocious is actually the it was in the last drop, and it was called "Our Home Was Never Built to Last," which of course obviously I am a Texas boy and I love Texas, and if you make a Texas thing, I'm going to be obviously judging that with rose-colored glasses. And Our Home Was Never Built to Last to me is like a interesting take on the storms we had in Texas.
See, right there, Moving On for me is the best. Right there, bottom right. I love that one.
I like that one too. It's just not my favorite one. But all that being said, they're all very good pieces. I'm not sure if it's a derivative style or if it's truly a unique style, I guess is where I'm coming from. They're a little bit abstract and a little bit Picasso-esque derivative, I guess, in my opinion. And
you do know that all art is imitation, right?
Sure.
All art is imitation.
For sure. Okay. And that's, like I said, I'm not an educated art person, so maybe there is unique stuff to it. And there's pieces that I like I said. I really like Our Home Was Never Built to Last. And Victor and Victoria's, nothing wrong with that piece. It's like a commodity piece for sure. I think I like the other one you pointed out better. But all like wrapping it all up, the crux of my argument is really about like, as a collector, there's two things that create value in these pieces. One is it good art? Like, at least in your own subjective opinion, like I think Mad Dog Jones's stuff is amazing and I would own any of his pieces, although there's a few pieces I like more than others. So is it good art? And then the other piece of it is the artist like going to be recognized by the community or by history as like an interesting and person who did something for the art community? And I think that's where like the age thing with Ferocious is a bit of a wild card. Like, I think a more seasoned artist, like you look at Beeple and what he's doing. Like he's been doing this for what 13 years or something. He's been putting out digital art. He made his money off of it, and he's still contributing. I just heard he got put onto a board of one of the rendering software systems that he uses. So he's still trying to be active and still trying to push stuff forward. So like a more seasoned artist, I think, is a safer bet for blue chips because they're more likely to be kind of a pillar of the community. Ferocious, that pillar of the community piece to me is, I haven't seen it. Maybe it's there, but it sure is buried if it is there. And I think that has to be there for somebody to be blue chip.
So I'm really into Fewocious, I should say, and the reason being is because I really do like their artistic kind of style. Like, there's a lot of Picasso influence, and then the use of color is pretty wild. This is definitely one of my favorite pieces for sure. I do get what Mike's saying though about the commodity piece. I also didn't remember that this was $4,444 as an open edition at drop. So that's definitely, that's pretty wild. CryptoCaster has been cratering by Fewocious as well. But the other thing to keep in mind is that Fewocious is 18 years old, and the talent is there, right? It is explosive, creative talent. There's collaborations going on with other artists. So I have to think that it's going to continue. And I have to think the fact that Fewocious is so deeply ingrained in the NFT space will lead to a comeback. But I think you're right. Fewocious went from basically like a top 5 artist to now you can get their work on the secondary market for a pretty affordable number. Sorry, Malachi, what were you going to say?
No, I mean, I think that from a community standpoint, one of the things is I think Fewocious is young and learning, and I think that the fact that they did that drop with their friends, its parrot kind of became popular. Odious became popular from that as well. I think that they've taken the feedback well, and I think that you haven't seen as many drops recently where there was a lot of push early on. I think that time is going to benefit Fewocious. I think that we also are seeing someone who is young exploring the Nifty space and how they're going to respond to the massive amount of attention. You see them with Thank You X. You see them with all these other very successful artists, graffiti artists in LA, well-known artists that are embracing Fewocious and also mentoring them. If I were to place a bet, I would bet pretty strong on Fewocious long-term as becoming blue chip. And when you look at the price drop, I mean, across the board, I think right now we're seeing a lot of discounted pieces. So I wouldn't hold that against them. I'm in the camp that, I'm waiting for a Victor and Victoria to be at the price point I'm comfortable with. But as soon as I can have one, for me personally, it's a blue chip piece. I'll probably buy the commodity piece early, and then hopefully pick up some more after that.
I'm just waiting for my Rafik, dude. I just put another global offer for 2,500.
Nice.
But
hey, I'm gonna
so much. What's up?
Let me talk about this comment from Kevin real fast. I think it's a good comment. So he's basically made an observation that he's recognized that collaborations, or in his opinion, collaborations in general seem to perform more poorly than standalone pieces. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in on that comment. Like, I think some collaborations, I don't think the collaboration itself is a problem. I think like somehow some artists are getting pushed into wacky collaborations, and that's why I think, and especially Nifty Gateway's been doing a lot of these wacky collaborations, or at least they were. Maybe they've walked it back some, but so like obviously the collaboration that is just painfully in the forefront of my psyche is Billellis and Greg Mike. Like, I think that's like a textbook case of what you should not do with collaboration.
Total separate things.
Yes. So they slammed those two together, and I was kind of hungry for a Billellis at the moment. I mean, I don't know what went through my head, but that piece I think dropped for about 1,500, and it's going for like 300 now. It's basically like 80% below drop price, which is just horrible. But I think moral of the story, like, there's obviously bad collaborations. Just avoid them. Like, don't vote with your dollars. Like, this is a case where you need to vote with your dollars. And maybe at 250, it's a deal, but it's just not a good piece. Like, It really does injustice to Billellis, who has some, in my opinion, I actually really like a lot of his stuff. I mean, I think maybe Malachi had made a case a while back that he was kind of overly diluting his work.
Yeah, briefly to add to that, I was disappointed that he did that other edition with, it was 1,000. It wasn't an open edition, but it was, I think, 8 pieces. I think they were 250 each, and he was charging 1,000 each. I actually owned 2 of his pieces early on from the second drop, and I actually sold both of them for profit. I would buy another one of his pieces. I think that collab with Greg Mike was a mistake. I think people were very, very quick to get frustrated with him because of that other drop where they thought that they could buy a piece of art and it was going to be worth 30,000. It was right at that time where people were seeing the crash of the nifty gateway collectibles, and so he dropped at the worst possible time with that collection, and he suffered the brunt. It was him and Boss Logic got a lot of flack for those drops at that time that looked like cash grabs. Maybe they were consulted poorly, maybe they were making money. If you have the opportunity to make millions of dollars, I'm not going to hold it against you, but it's going to affect your ability to produce, additional returns in the near term. I think he has staying power. I think he comes back. He did the cover art for Diablo 2. He's successful or the remaster of Diablo 2. He's successful in industry as well. It's really interesting. And the reason I think the blue chips are going to be becoming more of our talking points is we're running out of time to talk today. But what's really important for me as a collector now is when I was figuring out this space, just like everyone who's listening 4 months ago, except for Rob, who got in very early, I bought a lot of art that I couldn't give away. I thought it looked cool, and I was buying it to flip it and thinking that everything was going to be worth a lot of money. And now I take a completely different approach where if I'm going to buy a piece of art, I'm going to buy it if I could never sell it again. And there may be times that if the market says that it's worth an amount of money that I think, oh, wow, I could go buy a blue chip from this piece of art, then I may put it up for sale. And then I'm going to be collecting more art that A, I love, and B, I think is part of this blue chip, where if I'm buying a piece of art from an artist that's on chain and they're at Sotheby's, that's pretty darn cool. They're at Christie's, that's pretty darn cool. I'm buying the first drops of X Copy, who for the first time he or they are in Sotheby's. That's a pretty cool thing when we think about the longevity of these pieces, and so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, for sure. And just to kind of, I don't mean to circle back, but just to kind of answer Kevin's last question of why do I consider that below us Greg Mike, they're both going to hate me now if they ever happen to watch this, but I'm sure they know that it was a jank collab. So like Belelis is like a gothic kind of dark artist, and then Greg Mike is like a whimsical, colorful artist. Like some stuff, it's like putting ice and hot water together. Like it's gonna, like, why would you, they're just not a good mixture. And I think that piece is just indicative of what happens when you combine two unrelated things. You just get something that's murky and nonsensical in the end, and it's not really good art, and no one should appreciate it, really. I mean, I think could be great Belelis collabs. Like when we did the Pavel Sokov interview, he said that his number one person who he'd like to collab with was Belelis, and I think he does like really high detail, like oil paintings. Like he was thinking it would be cool if he did some kind of collab with Belelis where they do like Belelis does a piece and then he does an oil painting of it, and then they get some animation of the oil painting. I think something like that, where you want a collab to be kind of like where the two styles are complementary in some way. But at least my personal opinion on that Marble Smoke piece is like, it was almost taking the worst of their two repertoires and combining those together instead of taking complementary attributes and combining them together. So that's kind of my naive artist review of that piece.
Well, what's really interesting, probably, that Artifex, this new NFT marketplace, IFEX.art, they're launching new NFTs, and they're going to have an augmented reality component, Rob. So I think you're going to be a big fan of it. Bill Ellis is one of the first drops on there, and that art looks really cool. So he's going to a new platform. They may embrace him really well. It's a new idea. There's going to be some augmented reality with that. And the other artists are, and the initial drop with Artifacts is Too Much Lag, who did that Will Smith Twitter thing that was awesome. F Render, Beige, who's F Render's wife, Blake Catherine, Jason Ebayer, Victor Mosquera, and others. So when you think about like the future, maybe if Below just gets off Nifty Gateway, avoids the Discord where people are being negative, it might be a good refresher. And then some of those pieces may rebound, right? Time heals all things. One of the reasons that, musicians, they spend a year promoting an album, they drop the album, and then they go on a world tour for a year and a half, and they disappear for a year or two to give people time to not get, to be out of the limelight for a year. So it's like a 3-year cycle. We don't know what that cycle is for NFTs yet, where if an NFT artist becomes overexposed, can they go away for a year and come back? And everyone realizes that that art was great. They miss that art. They want to collect it. And now they've kind of repaired their reputation. So I think that no artist today is in massive trouble. Candidly, hopefully Boss Logic doesn't watch this, but I think that artist is probably has the most at risk because they were dropping on every single platform every single day for multiple weeks, and there was a lot of resentment. I think Bill Ellis comes back and is totally fine after this. But this is a cool project. They're dropping May 20th. I think everyone needs to take a look at it. Tomorrow is the first 2 drops. I'm sure Pio is gonna hopefully find a way to put this on his drop watch as well.
Man, that Ellis piece right there is amazing. Sorry.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, it is definitely some pretty cool stuff. And this is what we were talking about, is that, Nifty Gateway isn't necessarily the end all be all. And you might see artists, coming out with their own platforms. And it will be fascinating to see how everything plays out. And what Malachi said about time is absolutely right. So, hey.
Yep, go ahead. We'll cover it next time. No problem.
Yeah, let's talk about this one tomorrow, maybe.
Sounds good. Yeah, we're going to try to sneak on more and more, even if the streams are only 10 or 15 minutes. So appreciate everyone watching. Please follow Nifty Culture at NFT Culture on Twitter. Please go to niftyculture.com. That's at nftculture.com. Artist interviews all the time, articles covering the NFT space. These videos will get posted there. Follow me on Twitter at crypto_PO and Escape Velocity on YouTube. I will be doing the drop watch in about a half hour. Thanks, guys.
Later, guys.
Thanks, Pio.